Hey everyone, and welcome back to the History Sisters podcast. We hope you are having a good day. Today we will be touching base on women's voting rights in the United States during the late 1800s and early 1900s. My name is Kate Zaccardi.
I'm Lauren Walsh.
And I'm Briella Munson.
And we're your hosts for the day. Take it away, Lauren.
First, we wanted to start this podcast off with how did women gain the right to vote in the United States?
I don't know, Lauren. How did they?
It actually starts much before that with a woman named Susan B. Anthony. Did you know that Susan B. Anthony and 15 other women voted illegally in the presidential election of 1872? This is where the main disputes and drive for women's voting rights had initially started.
And within this podcast, we are going to be introducing the 15th and the 19th Amendments and how it affected the United States population regarding the rights for women to vote and the voting rights amongst the entire population.
That is so interesting, Briella.
Thanks, Lauren. What else could you tell us about?
The NAWSA provides us with background information for who was leading this fight for women's suffrage, and this provides us with context to how they started institutional change through the law, starting with the document Letter to Congress from Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and others in support of women's suffrage. This is important on how women started to demand change, and this started constitutionally with this document, which led to the constitutional change of voting rights for women. In this document, Elizabeth Cady Stanton respectfully addresses Congress and is pleading with them to invite her and the rest of the NAWSA to speak to Congress in person on establishing the right to vote for women specifically, along with addressing Congress on if women are U.S. citizens, since they are a part of this country, they should have the right to vote just like the men of the United States.
And adding on to the idea of women's voting rights, there are two amendments that help support equal rights between women, but also the United States population. These two are the 15th and the 19th Amendment. The 15th Amendment supports voting rights amongst the United States population and African Americans. This document allowed for everyone to vote regarding race, color, or previous conditions of servitude. As for the 19th Amendment, this allows for women to vote and supported the idea the rights of citizens of the United States to vote shall not be denied by the United States or by any state on account of sex.
The 15th Amendment was passed and ratified by Congress on February 3, 1870, as this allowed for African Americans and the United States population regarding race, color, and previous condition of servitude to vote. Voting rights for women were not effective within the first years of it being legal to do so, and as for non-white women, they continued to wait for several years. Along with non-white women, unsurprisingly, some white women were attracted to the abolition movement because they lacked fully equality. Abolition caused white and non-white women to come together to fight for their rights.
The 19th Amendment was approved by the House of Representatives on June 4, 1919, and ratified in August 1920. This marked a very long and heart-aching fight. For example, from author Tanya Banks, Martha Jones writes, "White women saw their own oppression and plight of enslaved African Americans as persons who were legally disabled of laws of marriage, property holding, and inheritance. White women saw slavery as a comparable to their own condition. Women, they argued, were owned by men, without rights or the capacity to act by way of individual will, thus they suffered under the slavery of sex. Both white and non-white women took the risk together to fight for the rights that they deserved. The 19th Amendment was a historical standpoint regarding women's right to vote, because it allowed for all women to vote, and this also allowed for non-white women to vote as well. The 19th Amendment set all women free of any restrictions rewarding voting rights."
This is starting to get so interesting. Does anyone else have anything to add?
Wow, Briella, that was a lot of information. Now, just to make sure that no one was sleeping on us, let's do a little recap. We have talked about how the letters of Congress and the influential women of the time led to the ratification of voting rights in the United States.
What were the names of the amendments again?
The 15th and the 19th Amendment.
All right, where was I?
Recap, remember?
Both the 19th and the 15th Amendments were highly beneficial towards the population of the U.S. in the mid-1900s. This allowed people of all social and racial statuses the right to have the vote in their own country.
All right, History Sisters, make sure to tune in next time where we touch base on how Susan B. Anthony came to be. Thanks for tuning in. Don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button and comment down below what you want to hear from us next.